Coming up next on this edition of In the City, Murfreesboro 2035, a community-wide process to plan for the next 20 years of growth. Learn more about the latest draft of the plan, Land Use and Character. How could it change city planning? Swan Cosmetics USA opens operations in Murfreesboro with a big bang. A big color bang, that is. We'll take you to the celebration and a guided tour of the impressive new state-of-the-art facility in the Joe B. Jackson Industrial Park. A growing city needs growing water and sewer capacity. The Sinking Creek Treatment Plant is undergoing a $30 million expansion. We'll take you to the groundbreaking for an expansion that will increase the plant's capacity. Plus, youth golf has stepped up its game at Old Fort Golf Club with the arrival of the Jex Wilson Academy. Watch as junior golfers are drafted into teams and sign contracts to play in the Bloomfield Linksters League. All that and more coming up right now on this edition of In the City. Welcome to another edition of In the City, your source for what's happening right here in the city of Murfreesboro. I'm Mike Browning. Well, the city is planning for the next 20 years of growth. It's called Murfreesboro 2035. The latest chapter in the plan is the Land Use and Character Map Draft Chapter 4. Consultants recently presented the chapter to the task force.
The future land use map, as I'm sure you know, is one of the key elements of the the Land Use and Character chapter.
Kindred Keys Collaborative consultants provided the Murfreesboro 2035 Task Force with guiding principles of land use.
And so you can see before you basically four colored areas. The rust-colored areas are those lands that have permitted or development that's currently permitted, but in the next 5 years, those are the areas most likely to be developable. We projected that by 2035, again, the city of Murfreesboro will have about an estimated 228,000 persons living within the city limits.
The land use map looks at more than the land within the city limits, but also the entire urban planning area, which includes all the potential land in the urban growth boundary. That area will increase in population to a projected 362,000 by 2035. Consultants project the planning growth area will increase by roughly 160,000 people, both within the city and in the growth area. But the future land use plan capacity supports only 120,000. The rural agriculture land contains roughly 35,000 acres, but consultants advise that much of that acreage has severe environmental constraints. Planners also have to account for the additional schools and parks to accommodate the burgeoning population. That shrinks the available land down to 33,000 acres. Of course, any number of unforeseen regional and national trends could change the projections both positively and negatively.
But we need to try to be conservative and plan for that kind of scenario.
Consultants also outlined a list of guiding principles and policies that set the stage for how planners approach land use. These include such principles as interjurisdictional cooperation with Rutherford County that includes protecting open space, growth management that enhances Murfreesboro's small-town atmosphere while balancing the need for growth.
So we're trying to discourage leapfrog development.
Also principles like fiscally responsible, development that is contiguous to existing development, ensure equity that includes underserved and underrepresented populations, and respect environmental constraints. Other principles, preserving resources by preserving agriculture land and mix of uses within walking distance of each other in compact neighborhoods. Members of the task force see mixed use as an important part of the plan.
You know, if a corporation was coming to Murfreesboro to look at relocating, I think they're going to be looking for areas like that.
In our downtown, I could see room for plenty of growth for mixed use, and I believe there's plenty of data out there to prove that millennials and Aging homeowners are going to want smaller spaces closer to conveniences.
One thing that could be fairly easy to do is to build in neighborhood commercial into some of your existing neighborhoods. So that would help provide a more walkable environment.
And I'd like to add too, I think that's important in all areas of the city, not just the central part of the city, but in the areas where we've spread out.
Yeah.
And that's how we become neighborhoods instead of just subdivisions.
In the housing chapter, consultants are recommending that no multifamily housing be larger than 20 acres in area and no greater density than 20 units per acre.
Nothing larger than 400 units, which sounds like a lot of area.
I would hesitate to say that 20 units is a max, because we, as an apartment developer myself, we're developing a lot of surface park deals now at up to 30 units an acre.
One option under consideration would be to require developers to prove why a heavier density is acceptable, to give developers flexibility rather than capping it. There seems to be a sense that increased density has the potential to disturb the sense of place that so many appreciate about Murfreesboro. Striking this balance will be a challenge for planners.
It definitely is a case-by-case basis. There's obviously places that density makes no sense, but there is places, especially around the interstate, where it makes a lot of sense.
Murfreesboro's current zoning map includes 31 zoning districts with 6 overlay districts, but under the proposed future land use map, the number of districts would be reduced to 16 land use classifications. Mixed use, planners stress, adds variety to an otherwise typical neighborhood, citing Murfreesboro's Boulevard restaurant near the MTSU campus as a good example.
This is a good example of a neighborhood commercial kind of development, except the only problem is that the expansive parking lot in the back of it really separates it from the rest of the neighborhood.
Currently, the Regent Townhouse development is under construction at this location that will hide parking from street view. Meanwhile, moving toward lighter business park developments rather than industrial districts would be another goal in keeping with the plans for mixed use. The rationale behind the draft future land use map is designed to solicit community input to develop a final map that will guide the city's development over the next 20 years. In October, a community workshop gives the public opportunity to review and comment on the draft. As City Manager Rob Lyons describes, a living, breathing document that is a starting point for what a future Murfreesboro might look like.
I really like this concept and where it's going, but I do think we'll be tweaking it along the way, like you said, the maps and where everything is. So I like it.
Swan Cosmetics USA celebrated the company's official grand opening ceremony on September 24th at its new headquarters on Elam Farms Parkway, just off Joe B. Jackson Parkway. Swan Cosmetics relocated to Murfreesboro after deciding to integrate 2 aging plants in Piscataway, New Jersey and Lewisburg, Tennessee. With the $40 million investment in a state-of-the-art building and 350 jobs for Rutherford County, Swan's presence is certainly something to celebrate, as the company did with a big color bang.
A heartfelt welcome to Swan Cosmetics USA. We feel privileged that you've joined us here today to celebrate our grand opening, The Big Bang. It's the start of something big for all of us, all the stakeholders here. In 2013, Governor Haslam and Commissioner Boyd met with the Swan Cosmetics Board in Nashville. He told us of how family-owned businesses are strategically important to Tennessee's economic future. As such, Swan Cosmetics USA is here for the long haul. Our co-workers are our family, and we will be good, active community stewards. We are thankful for the economic environment created by and the economic incentives we received from the state of Tennessee.
We promise you we understand that that's how jobs get created, when companies are willing to put capital at risk. So that's a big deal for us, number one. We welcome the 350 jobs and the huge investment. Second, it says something that another global brand has located and put such a large presence in Tennessee. We love the fact that this is a company, by the way, that has 7,500 employees all over the world. The third thing, as Holly mentioned, it does make a difference. We love companies of all kinds, but family companies, particularly ones that have been in the same family for 5 generations, are rare. And what we notice in companies like that is they tend to get it. They understand they're a part of the bigger world that they live in. And so their employees tend to be more involved. They tend to be more committed to those communities. And we love and welcome that kind of investment.
I can tell you one of the rewards that I know that is great for me is that this is all great. We always have a good time at these events, but the thing that really impacts me the most is that when we actually get to go through a facility, we see people that are employed, we see people that are earning a living and making a better way for their family economically. And so congratulations on that, and thank you for your investment.
So simply looking at this facility today, either from the exterior or from within, I'm thankfully able to declare, yes, our dream came true. This is the beginning of a new chapter in Schwan's long and successful US history.
The concept of the team here convinced the board, and we were able to say, well, Tennessee is maybe not the focus of the beauty industry in the US, but we learned is that Tennessee, as well as the region here, is one of the fastest growing in the US. You have the university nearby that really gives you access to a workforce here. And so we thought that the package would really fit to us as a family-owned company.
It is with great pride and honor that myself, as representative of the Schwan House of Family, can stand here to express our gratitude to everyone who contributed to this outstanding success surrounding us here so impressively in Murfreesboro. It is therefore an honor for our family to give you, Governor Haslam, and our Managing Director, Holly Montgomery, a very limited edition of our Family Business Chronicle, which describes the development of the Schwan business from its first origins.
Thank you very much.
On this special day, all the employees were given the day off to enjoy the festivities, and we were given a guided facility tour.
The area up here is really designed for the client experience. This is the new boardroom, which was actually dedicated today. This is some of our sales team here speaking with the client. So this area here is where our sales and marketing team reside. And the idea up here is everyone that we need to support the client is up here. This is where we will develop formulations for our clients. This is where we will do color matches. And this is where all of the chemists that operate these benches in here, this is where they sit. Again, you see the lab has the daylighting in here. It's meant to be a very warm, inviting space. This is where our package engineers are that develop the primary packages for the formulas that our products go in. This area here is the operations support area. This is designed down here to provide all the support necessary to run the operations floor. This is a 360 innovation room. You know, Swan Cosmetics, their theme is inspiration engineered. And you can see on this back wall here some of the different product names that we have. This is our shipping receiving warehouse. This is where we receive all of our raw materials in, and we take it through our compounding operations, which is kind of where we make the bulk that we fill. After it comes through packing, it comes to the warehouse here, and we'll ship about 5 million pencils a month out of this facility.
Swan's history goes back a ways. The company was founded in 1855 as a family-owned company in Haraldsburg, Germany. It's the world's largest manufacturer of highlighter pens. Ownership of a 2.5 acres of land where historic Black Cat Cave is located could be transferred from the City of Murfreesboro Parks and Recs Department to MTSU. The Murfreesboro Planning Commission in mid-September gave its approval to seek such a transfer, which must still be approved by the full City Council. During the meeting, MTSU archaeologist Dr. Shannon Hodge provided the Planning Commission with the history of the cave, including recent excavation that confirmed the presence of a prehistoric cemetery at the site.
This image here shows 231 North is at the top of the frame there. The VA is on the right, and Black Cat Cave is there on the left, circled, and then there's an expanded image of it there in the box. It is in a cave the opening of which is in a sinkhole there in that clump of trees in the middle of that parcel there. And this photograph you see here was actually taken in 1933. At the time it was known as Rainbow Cave. And it doesn't really look like a cave from this vantage point. In fact, to me it looks a little bit like a double-wide trailer. But if you look, what looks like the roof there is actually the overhang at the entrance to the cave. And what was done is that they built in a stone masonry wall with windows and doors, and it's got a fireplace inside. What was found in late 2013, and you can see in this photograph, to the left is that front masonry wall. You can see, in fact, the fireplace there on the left edge of your screen. It also had a poured concrete floor. And what had happened was that vandals had broken through that poured concrete floor and had begun digging into what we now know were very old archaeological deposits. That we have radiocarbon dates from charcoal at the bottom of the deposits that date it between 5,000 and 7,500 years ago. So it's exceptionally old. To our knowledge, it is the earliest human use of a cave east of the Mississippi River. People lived in the cave. They also buried their dead in the floor. Those are our students, MTSU students, standing in a hole that was about 4 feet deep at its greatest depth. That pile of dirt on the right-hand side of the screen, 5 or so feet tall, all of it chock full of everyday artifacts, tools and that kind of stuff, and human skeletal remains, prehistoric Native American burials. This is a cross-section of the soil sediments from the cave, and you can see there's a very lengthy record of people having occupied this. All of those gray layers are ash. The orange layers are burned earth where somebody would have had a fire. So what we did in partnership with Murfreesboro Parks and Rec, Middle Tennessee Archaeology came in with our students and our faculty to try and take care of the vandalism that had been done. We screened through the soil that had been disturbed by the vandals to get any artifacts and small pieces of human remains. We collected the larger human remains. All of that went back to our laboratories of archaeology at MTSU and are currently being analyzed by our faculty and students. So this is what it looked like when we got done with it in spring of 2014, put the dirt back, put the concrete slabs back to cover the hole and try and deter any further digging. The city of Murfreesboro moved very swiftly to put in a very nice solid gate. And this is the final gate. It's what's referred to as a bat gate to let bats in and out. And I just want to say thank you to everyone.
The Sinking Creek Treatment Plant is undergoing a $30.5 million expansion. Once completed, the expansion will increase the plant's capacity from the current 16 million to 24 million gallons per day. City administrators and water and sewer board members gathered to celebrate the expansion on the complex grounds.
As many of you know, Murfreesboro is going through a comprehensive plan. It projects that Murfreesboro will grow by 100,000 people in the next 20 years. And we would not be able to grow like we have or we will continue in the future without the Water and Sewer Department leading the charge and being able to manage our wastewater.
We have over $115 million in future capital improvements, and we couldn't have accomplished this without pursuing a path of proper rates through a cost of services study. In addition to the Sinking Creek plant, this addition to the Sinking Creek plant is an example of us solving tomorrow's problems with today's planning.
In wastewater treatment, water treatment, it's not something that you can fix immediately. It's a long-range planning and construction of projects that keeps you ahead of the curve. Because if you don't have capacity, then that's lost opportunity if someone like Pillsbury or some other plant wants to come in to town, or someone wants to put a subdivision somewhere, or a new business wants to open. If you don't have that capacity, they can't come.
In the past, you had situations where a wastewater plant, everything that came out of a wastewater plant
was trash, basically, a waste product, something that had to go somewhere that nobody wanted. They allowed us to put a certain amount into the river. We took some to the landfill, but no one wanted it, and everything was a disposal product. But now, this is the first step in moving toward the future in which every product from this plant will be a retail commercial product.
When you look at the term green and environmental stewardship and stewardship to the public, I really do think it's a calling, and I think that everybody that's in this line of work, in the utility work, especially working for a city, we've been called to serve. We've been called to serve our fellow man, and we've been called to serve protecting the water resources of this area. We want these streams to be as pristine tomorrow as they were yesterday.
The Sinking Creek plant expansion is being done in phases, with full completion scheduled for 2018. The Murfreesboro Municipal Airport reopened in September with a planned extended runway. The $4.5 million project is extending the runway by 852 feet, improved LED lighting, new taxiway connectors, and improved signs and drainage.
A major renovation of the Murfreesboro Municipal Airport has been going on since the spring of 2015. The work has been so extensive that the airport had to be closed for a period of time. The main improvement is the runway extension, but Airport Manager Chad Gerke explains other improvements.
The other essential task was to resurface the existing runway pavement. The pavement had been there for 30 years. There had been several resurfacings that had been done through the time, and sealing and paint, but we're finally taking care of that asphalt, milling it, not only putting down new asphalt, but also meeting FAA specs with the various slopes that are on that pavement and on that runway to make sure that water is going off of the runway properly, and also to make for a nice smooth and even surface for the aircraft. Another thing that we're taking care of is a lot of drainage issues. We got a lot of standing water here. We were able to move it so that these surfaces, the taxiways, the runways, are moving the water during storm events. So there's huge improvements there. Taxiways that were at various high-speed kind of angles and quite narrow have now been put in uniform positions along the runway, and they're widened and are a much better flow for the aircraft. We've also installed another taxiway which goes into what was some of the older soccer fields, and that will be the future home of Vandy Life Flight and Air Methods, where they will put their base at. Another huge improvement was in our runway lighting and taxiway system, our airfield lighting system. It was all old incandescent bulbs. Now we have a consistent level with the LED lights. The other thing that we were able to do with this system is also have pilot control lighting. So between the LED and then the ability to raise and lower the light levels, we're saving a great deal of money in our electrical use out here at the airport.
Gerke acknowledges how trying it's been on the surrounding neighbors, and he wants to thank them for being understanding during this construction.
The neighbors have been really working with us very well. It's been a difficult summer. We have literally been doing construction out here 24 hours a day, but they've been very patient with us, and I really appreciate that.
The length of the airport's runway will be extended 852 feet, from 3,898 to 4,750 feet. And Gerke talks about how that will benefit pilots and the city.
There's a number of business-size aircraft, anywhere from 6 passengers, maybe to 12, maybe up to 19, that are coming in and out of here to do business in Murfreesboro and Rutherford County. The added runway length just improves their ability to operate a little safer. Should they have any type of issue in the takeoff roll, that gives them a little bit more asphalt to bring that aircraft to a stop.
After the runway extension is completed, the layout of the airport will be submitted to the Federal Aviation Administration, and they will determine the approaches pilots will take when taking off and landing at the airport.
Now that we have built the runway, the survey information is now going to the FAA, including survey information of the approaches at either end, if there are any obstacles or anything like that that are in our way, or anything that we have to light or trim or anything like that. All that information goes to the FAA, and there they have an interesting task of creating these approaches into our airport. Student traffic, we're still at 100 feet wide, but the length will help. Just the improvement in the layout of the taxiways helps, the drainage helps, the LED lights, it all helps. It all leads to, again, improved safety, and that's our #1 goal.
Although the airport reopened September 4th, the contractor LoJack Enterprises had to finish up some of the runway resurfacing. In the interim, the runway approach pattern had to be changed. Youth golf has stepped up its game at Bloomfield Links thanks to pro Jex Wilson and the Jex Wilson Academy. Check out the fun for these Bloomfield Linksters at the league draft.
With the opening of Bloomfield Links, the new 6-hole short golf course run by the city of Murfreesboro, came the Jex Wilson Golf Academy, a golf program committed to junior golf development, serving golfers of all skill levels. The day we visited Old Fort Golf Club, it was draft day. The day the junior golfers are divided into teams of 4 and 5, they have their names announced and sign a contract to play in the youth league called the Bloomfield Linksters.
Well, again, this is just a continuation of our program that we got underway this spring. Our intentions, our vision is to have calendar year all 4 seasons covered. So we have our series is going to be named after the particular season. So this is our 2015 Bloomfield Linksters Fall Series.
This being the second series of this new program, there were 60 junior players signed up ranging from the ages of 6 to 13. There are 2 conferences, the Par Conference with 6 to 9-year-olds and the Birdie Conference with 10 to 13-year-olds, with games being played on Saturday.
We call our little competitions on Saturday, we call them game days. And in the game days, everybody plays. At 8:45 is the shotgun for the Par Conference, and then at 11 o'clock, the older group, the Birdie Conference, goes. And we run it right on time, and they play 6 holes on our Bloomfield Links, which is, again, the gem of this program, really.
Some of the kids participating talk about what they like about golf.
I'm here today because I wanted to get a good golf experience and pretty much learn how to play the game and have fun while doing it.
I just think that it's fun because you can just do your own style of it, and I would also think that other people like to play if they've never played before.
My favorite part of golf is driving because you can hit it farther.
I like golf because it's like, well, it gets you more in touch with your arm motions.
Jex has what he calls a preseason, where he teaches the kids some basic skills of golf and assesses their skill levels, so the teams are as fair as possible.
Biggest thing there we're trying to is get them in the discipline of the pre-swing factors, alignment, how to put their hands on the golf club, aiming. So we have a little, our PGA, posture, grip, aim, is really the theme of the preseason, and then we just kind of go from there.
Also, Jex explains the best way to learn the game is to play the game, and Bloomfield Links is a great venue for beginners.
You can show up at Bloomfield Links, a youngster under age 18, $5. We'll provide the balls, the clubs, tees. They can play all day. So it's the same theme. The Linksters is just an intro to golf.
The next series will be starting spring of 2016, and the best way to stay informed is to get on Jex's email list at jexpga@aol.com.
That's it for this edition of In the City. For more information on the City of Murfreesboro, go to murfreesborotn.gov. And if you want to watch video stories and news breaks on the latest city news, just visit our YouTube channel at the City of Murfreesboro. Until next time, we look forward to seeing you in the city.